That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 46 of the 10th Inning Podcast. I'm Sean. He's Dan. How you doing, Dan? What do you got for us today?
A little bit
light.
A ring light, recent purchase. Don't know if you're aware of Five Below. Great place. I walk in there
Yes.
to go and get some Gatorade bottles because what had happened was had a Gatorade bottle, and I'm a water bottle guy. I always get water bottles everywhere. I have them stocked in my room, but of late, and this isn't like a recent thing, where people have been doing this, but people keep saying, why are you still drinking out of bottles? You really should have. Okay, the TV turned on. I was very scared. Really should have a reusable bottle. And as you know, as a St. Bonaventure alum, big on recycling here. I put it to my name. I started a recycling thing of the whole men's dorm. I would have everyone drop their bottles off at our dorm, and I'd bring it to Walmart and recycle them. So it's not like I'm, pro fuck the earth. That's not my stance on the matter. So I said, you know what? Let's just fill up the Gatorade bottle and let's go. I always use these bottles because it's just so much easier. If I lose it, it's not a problem. I can throw it out. It's just I'm a little. So this is just safety net for me. I get to class. I'm sipping on the gate. I put it down. I left without it, Sean. Left it, so I lost it. And that was the only one I had. And I said, this is why I use the reusable bottles because I'm just not responsible enough for, for that kind of responsibility. Unfortunately, I wish I was. Unfortunately, I'm more of the problem because I'm going to keep buying these plastic reusable bottles. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be worse for the planet if I do this. Long story short, Sean, I went to Five Below to go get some new Gatorade bottles. I found a couple, but they had this ring light here, and I was like, oh, I could use a ring light for the pod. The specky season's coming up. There's some good uses for it. It had a bunch of LED multicolors on the front of the box, Sean. I didn't know all it is different colors. It doesn't have white. The one light it doesn't have is white. So this is what you're seeing on me is like a yellowish green, but I think it looks pretty good for white. Here, just to get a taste, like that's red, blue. You know what I'm saying? They got different types of blue, like a pinkish, another blue like a green.
Wow.
But this is really yellow. But I think it comes off. What do you think? I think it works. The yellow works for the purposes.
It absolutely works. It does.
So you tell me, you pro ring light or not pro ring light? This is off. It's off right now. You see what I look like here? Well, that's blue. And here's it on. Off.
I'm pro ring light.
You're pro ring light. Okay, so we made a purchase. It was only $5. So you can't be upset about that.
You can write it off, right?
I'll write it off as a business expense. Shout out Five Below. Thank you very much. I don't know where I was going with the story, Sean. I'm sorry. I've done it again. I've derailed the podcast.
The earth.
Save the earth. That's the whole message.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a perfect segue to hop into the weekly news.
I'm sure it is. I'd like to see how you tie it in.
First topic. Yeah, no. The first topic is about a prospect, Corbin Carroll, who's known to use Gatorade reusable water bottles. In fact, I know this stuff. And he shops at Five Below when he likes,
Member of the
Anyway, he's making his major league debut tonight. Yeah, making his major league debut tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was the 16th pick overall in 2019, and he has rose through the rankings pretty quickly.
Yeah,
he's a red hot. And what else do you want to know? But Dan has the game on right now in his room, and when his at bat's up, we're gonna watch it. He's gonna give us some commentary, and we're gonna potentially watch it.
I also have YouTube TV. I don't know how illegal it is, but I could probably try and share my screen, and we could all watch at home together. Again, I don't know the legality of it, but I'm willing to try.
It's probably not legal, but I don't think that YouTube's going to care that the 10th Inning Podcast is using their So
That
a
was
couple
my
years
thought
from now,
process.
we're big. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
While we can, Sean.
Yeah.
While we can.
So to move on to some other news, Justin Verlander, Zeke's favorite human being on the face of the earth, left his start the other day after 3 innings, and he had some calf discomfort. He was getting an MRI. I don't know if the results came back quite yet, but we haven't heard anything, which is probably a good sign, meaning it's not an issue. But Verlander has, over the course of the past couple of years, had some injuries, and he was, for the most part, doing well, avoiding it this year. But obviously, this is a little bump in the road. But he's just absolutely dominating. But the Astros, I think they would be smart to take a very cautious and conservative approach with this injury.
Yeah, I agree. They're playoff bound. They're trying for a championship this year. So right now, I don't think means too much. I think they're pretty much locked up with the division, let alone the playoffs. So I would just save them for when you need them. Let's not go crazy. Not important right now.
Absolutely. Now, Dan, I have a question for you, leading my next one.
Sure.
What do you think the record is for a team, Major League Baseball team, to have like a stretch of games without their starting pitcher recording a win? What do you think the amount of consecutive games in a row the record is?
Oh, now I remember. Can't remember the team he was on, but was it the Braves with who is that guy? Drew Smiley? Didn't he go like almost an entire season without a win, and his ERA was like sub 4? I know that was like a big record, but for the
Well,
team,
this is a team.
this
is
is
a team one.
team. Yeah, I'm trying to think for team.
Yeah.
Without okay, but the team could win a game without the pitcher recording a win, right? The starting pitcher,
Yes,
you're saying, or
pitcher's
any pitcher?
recording 5 innings or more. No,
So
the
this
starting pitcher.
Okay, all right. So that makes a difference here. I am going to go 16 games.
16 games. Well, the Nationals just ended their streak.
Okay.
Patrick Corbin, ironically enough, is the one who got the win.
Wow,
and their streak was at 43 games.
Wow.
43
That's
games.
bad.
Patrick Corbin went, I think, 6 innings, 1-run ball. Like, I don't remember who the opponent is or was.
It had to be Little League
boy,
team.
they must feel pretty bad. Yeah, I think the Hawaii team that won the Little League World Series probably could have mustered up some more runs than
Patrick Corbin is bad. No offense to Patrick. I wish you well, but I mean, if you weren't getting the money tied to you right now, you would not be on a major league field anymore. You had a good career, but it is over. If I was him, I would really just walk away. Again, I'm sorry for dogging him, but it's just bad. It's just bad.
Now I'm trying to look up who was against. Would you be able to look that up as I go into the next?
I'll do my best.
Okay. I had it pulled up, I thought, but it went away. Anyway, this one next topic is not necessarily today's player, but it's rather important for, as we talked about last week, baseball cards, that area, as well as baseball memorabilia or sports memorabilia. So, Mickey Mantle, rookie card 1952 Topps, is one of the most sought after, valuable baseball cards in the history of any sport and baseball card or any cards in general. And the story goes that Topps put out these cards in 1952. They did just a horrible job of distributing these cards, so much so that cards ended up in a basement of a warehouse, or basement somewhere, like thousands of cards. Mickey Mantle's card was in there, and no one discovered it until I think the 1980s. Fast forward to today, it's one of the most, like I said, most sought after cards of all time. It was just put up for auction and sold for a record $12.6 million. That is by far the most spent on any sport memorabilia in the history of auctions or anything like that. Beat out the Honus Wagner card.
Okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Actually,
the Hall of Fame, we had one of the 50 man. Yeah. So at the Hall of Fame, they have the Honus Wagner card, the one valued at $9 million. And then we used to have the Mickey Mantle one, which I think was the one that was just auctioned. It was on loan, obviously. They took it back and sold it. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, $12.6 million for a baseball card, and that is just going to keep appreciating, I think, because it seems like this stuff just keeps going up and up and up. The guy who had this card bought, I think, 17,000. I can't remember exactly. He bought a lot of cards from this guy for $250,000 in the basement in 1986. Mickey Mantle card was in this collection, and I believe the guy who bought that is the one who just auctioned it. So he made a pretty good ROI right there.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. Obviously, it's baseball related, but not necessarily in the traditional sense. But it's pretty cool, I'd say. $12.6 million for a baseball card. It was graded at, I think, a 9.5, which is fantastic. I think the Honus Wagner card, top one, is a 9. So it's a scale from, was it 0 to 10, I believe, 1 to 10, 0 to 10. So pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild stuff. That'll be Dan one day when he, has his 70,000 baseball cards.
When I finish sorting through them, if I could find anything nearly like that, I'll let you guys know. I don't think so, but I'll do my best. I did make some new purchases this weekend, though.
Yeah?
Or not this weekend, though. This week. I'll talk about it a little bit later. I bought 2 new cards. They're going to come into play in the episode.
Beautiful. A lot of ring lights our way then.
That's right.
Microphone, studio, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the next topic I have, Ichiro was inducted into the Mariners Hall of Fame. That may have been the biggest no-brainer thing in the history of anything. He'll be eligible for induction into the Hall of Fame, I think, in 2 years, maybe 3 years. He'll get in first ballot. But the Mariners, man, they have these huge names. They got Edgar Martinez, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., A-Rod. They just have never won. It's crazy. They are really good at developing talent. Even when they didn't have good teams, they had good young players. Like Felix Hernandez was a homegrown guy.
Yeah.
Seager, homegrown guy. They have guys. They're good at developing their players. And I just thought it was crazy. They've had these iconic names of players, and they never have won a World Series.
Yeah, big shout out to SB Nation. Is that? Or I always mess up and say it's something that it's not. I believe
it's Secret Base now. They used to be SB Nation. They changed their name to Secret Base.
Okay, thank you. Secret Base. They have a great Mariners series. They have a good series on that whole Mariners, the entire history of it. They get really in the weeds. I think it's like a 6-part series by Secret Base. That's a must watch. Probably one of my favorite YouTube series I've ever seen. They talk about how they became the Mariners, all the way up to how they lost, even though in those 116 win seasons with Ichiro and A-Rod and Edgar Martinez and Felix Hernandez, like Sean said, and Buhner, all those stars, how they still never put it together. But it's a really good series, so shout out to them. Give that a watch if you get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they know how to develop talent. And we had such a beautiful segue earlier from water bottles to baseball. This is a much better segue. Mariners to Mariners. Julio Rodriguez, J-Rod, signed a very intricate long-term contract. I think I may have called that last episode, saying that the Mariners might look to extend Julio Rodriguez.
You might have.
First time in my life I've been writing about something. First time in my life. So I believe he's guaranteed $240 million either way. The base of the contract is through 20, I think it's 8 or 9 years. And then at the 8th or 9th year, there's a team option. And then if the team picks up the option, Rodriguez decides if it's either a 3-year option or a 5-year option. I guess the deal can be worth up to like $440 million. But he's going to be a Mariner for a long time nonetheless. I think it was a really, really good signing. If it plays out well, it's the Atlanta Braves strategy here. They signed Michael Harris and all those guys recently. But for a team like the Mariners, I think it's important to lock them up because when this comes to a small market team, in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, guy hits free agency, he's gone. They can't afford him. So I think it's smart on their behalf to lock him up long term. And he's an absolute stud of a player.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I'm sorry, just making sure that we're nowhere near Mr. Corbin. I like the Mariners, and I don't think this will be their route. But the only thing that scares me about is like the last small market team that did this that wasn't previously successful before doing this was the Colorado Rockies with Nolan Arenado. And we know how that panned out, where it's like both sides were really happy. They thought they were going to be getting better. But it didn't really make sense because they had a juggernaut in their division with the Dodgers, a la Astros in the West. They weren't really ready. They have a nice team, but they weren't really ready. And in 2 years, no one was like, I want to win. They traded them, got, seemingly nothing back. I know it's early, but it's a very weird trade. And it just ended on a really sour note. I don't think that's what's going to happen here, but I don't think they're in that crazily different of a scenario than the Rockies. So I just caution a little bit. I got to put a little bit devil's advocate. I do think it's a great sign. I like the Mariners long term. I do like their team. I'm just saying that if it goes south, that is the direction it could go, with both sides not being happy.
Yeah. I will say, I guess Julio Rodriguez is a lot younger than Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a difference. I don't know if that will change it in any way. But the Mariners, they're making moves, and they'll be making the playoffs most likely. Fingers crossed for the first time in 21 years, I think. We're gonna have a lot of playoff droughts end. The Phillies are probably gonna end their 10-year drought, and the Mariners are gonna end theirs. So pretty interesting stuff. Big deal. Last one. Max Muncy signed an extension, did he not?
I didn't see it. He might have. He very well may have. I did not see it. I can check. Or you can check that.
I believe it was
The Cincinnati Reds, by the way, Sean, is the answer to your question, which makes a whole lot of sense. So let's not give him too much credit.
Minor league team.
What I'd like to say. Max Muncy signed a 1-year extension worth $13.5 million with a $10 million option for the 2024 season.
Okay.
So it's a 1-year deal with a club option. $13.5 million and 10. I like it for both sides. Muncy's really struggled this year, but he's turning it around. I think he's a great clubhouse guy regardless. Positional versatility. He's got a lot of flexibility. He can do a lot of things. So for $10 million and 13.5, I think that's a good sign for both teams, for both sides.
I like that as well. I do too. And you're doppelganger, so maybe you just got $13.5 million coming your way. You don't even know it.
Sean, if they accidentally send it to me, I would not be upset. I'll tell you that. I would not be upset in the slightest. The Diamondbacks have failed to record an out yet. It is 2-0 Phillies with first and third. So we might have some time for Corbin Carroll. Let's pray for Madison Bumgarner that he figures it out. Anyway,
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
I know. I never thought I'd hear myself say that either. Does that wrap it up for league news, Sean?
It does, yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. Listen, let's get into what everyone was waiting for, King Stats for the week. I know you guys hop on. We make you wait a little bit. You gotta tease you. Sean, I have some bad news.
Keep you guys around.
Bad news. I did not record a hit this week. Now the better news is I did not play this week. 2 rainouts. I'm getting iced over here, Sean. I'm getting absolutely effing iced. I mean, this is ridiculous. How am I supposed to perform? Now I'm living with the bad week for like 2 weeks straight. It's like festering in my heart. And I don't know what to tell you. What I will tell you, though, lineups came out early for this week. Tomorrow, as you know, we're recording Monday this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Sean, I will be on the bump. I am getting the game 1 start this week. Don't know how. So I'm getting the game 1 start. So I will have, please don't rain. I will have some stats for you guys next week. But what I can do for you, Sean, is I finished going through my full season stats for the Butchers this summer. And what I can do for you, Sean, is I can answer 3 stat questions about myself, Sean. If you have any questions about combinations, so men's and co-ed combo stats, or one or the other, you have 3 questions to ask about what I did or how I did. You can start it off whenever you feel comfortable.
Can I get a combo of your ERA?
Okay, you want to make it difficult on me, Sean. I appreciate that.
If not, I could just do.
I'm gonna tell you both ERAs because I don't have it in the system for a combo, but any like cumulative stat I can just add with my brain. But stats like that, I'm a little, you know. So in men's, I had my highest ERA since 2019. It was 16.71. We got smacked around in men's. We had some really good teams in our division. So 16.71 in co-ed. In co-ed, however, 10.4. My lowest ERA ever in co-ed was almost single digits. That would have been a really big accomplishment for me. But I'm really proud of that ERA with 10.4.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I have 2 more. Do you have your average righty versus lefty, like as far as when you're hitting?
So my lefty average is saying?
Yeah, compared to your
Okay.
righty.
Gotcha. All right. So I don't have the splits across, but I have my lefty average, my co-ed average, and my men's average. So that'll have to do. But I don't have my lefty co-ed and lefty righty and lefty men's. My believe it or not, I had 57 at bats in both leagues this year, and 33 hits in men's and 32 hits in co-ed. So I was extremely consistent, I guess you'd say. I hit 579 in men's. I hit 561 in co-ed. And lefty, I hit 525. So I was a little bit worse, lefty than righty. Definitely brought my average down a little bit. But I will say, I hit over 500 lefty this season, is what I'll say. Short sample size, small sample size, but I think that's because it'll go up if you get higher.
I think it'll go up.
Thank you. My lifetime lefty batting average up to 481, 611 on base lifetime. That's all I'm going to say, Sean. That's all I'm going to say. Your last
My last question would be, how many water bottles were dumped on your head for the whole season?
Wish I had that stat. I want to say I played 37 games, Sean. And I want to say probably half of them. So I want to say around 20. I'm going to say around 20 water bottles were dumped on my head. Although there's probably some games where I went 2. We'll say 25 just to be safe.
Okay.
Just to give you guys a couple of the interesting stats that I saw. I broke the 50 strikeout mark for the first time in my career. I did that in co-ed. I had 50 strikeouts exactly. That was a pretty big accomplishment for myself. I had 238 combined innings pitched, Sean, this season, which is definitely a full workload. I faced 1,443 hitters.
Yeah, I say so.
This season. So over 1,400 individual at bats I went through, and I lowered my walk percentage in men's from 2.05 down to 1.36. That's per 7 innings, a career low, and in co-ed, all the way from my beginning days was 8.27. It's down to 2.70 in co-ed. Finished with a 64 strikeout to 67 walk slash line. Only 3 more walks and strikeouts across the whole season in both leagues. That's something I'm really proud of. very difficult to get strikeouts, very easy to get walks, and the fact that I'm pretty even in that category is, something I take a lot of pride in as a pitcher.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Moving on to our picks, Clay. How many players will be batting above 300 at the end of the week? 11 players were at or above. 24 players were at or above 290. You said 9. I said 13. The answer was 13. I got it exactly correct, which is an absolute shocker. That was a pretty hard one to predict. So that's probably my toughest point I've ever gotten.
That's tough.
Diamondbacks are up. So we are 7 batters away. Number 2, how many pitchers will be at or under a 3 ERA? There was 19 at that point. Sean, you said 18. I said 16. They stayed at 19, Sean. So no one gets the point there. Question 3, which of these New York Thumpers has more RBIs at the end of the week, Alonso or Judge? This was worth 2 points. Sean, you said Alonso, and Judge had a week, unfortunately. So Judge took over that spot. They were tied at the beginning of the week. That's +2 for me. And lastly, there were 37 different players with 1,000 fielding percentage. 6 of them were hitters. 6 of them, were non-pitchers. Sean, you said 6 would remain. I said 5. One of them is going to make an error. Believe it or not, the answer this week is 7. However, Sean, you are getting a point. I think I just miscounted. There were 7 to begin with, and 7 stayed. I've miscounted, and I didn't see Brandon Nimmo of the New York Mets from last week, which makes 2 Mets outfielders were in that, then Kana and Nimmo. So congratulations to the New York Mets, and congratulations to Sean for the point. Bringing the weekly total, Dan 3, Sean 1. Season total, 25-23. Dan, I jump up to a 2-point lead right after erasing the comeback that Sean just made. And I gotta say, I am thrilled. I am happy about it. I don't think I look back. I don't think I lose the lead again. The rest of the season is a bold claim. I feel like the boys are hot. I feel like the boys are thumping. You have any rebuttal?
I play better from behind, so I just had to get in a spot I felt comfortable in. So
That's a good rebuttal.
Also, completely unrelated, Albert Pujols had another home run tonight.
And he's getting close, Sean. Do you think he does it?
He's got these 2 away from A-Rod, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we need, 6 more now?
I think so. It's going to be tough.
6 more with, it's probably like 30 games left?
Maybe, yeah. I think he does it. I think we start grooving him a couple. Groove the guy.
That's what I was going to say. You think they're going to groove him?
In the last week, when you're facing teams, it doesn't matter. If you're the Cardinals, pay him $1 million to groove a couple pitches. Let Albert take it. Moving on to our hitter highlight. Couple of names you wouldn't expect here, Sean. I'm excited about it. Corey Dickerson and Nathaniel Lowe.
Yep.
What did I take yours again? Is that what we did here?
Nathaniel Lowe.
You had Nathaniel Lowe? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stay with Corey, and then I'll give you Nathaniel. I won't even say a peep about Nathaniel. I'll add after you if there's anything left. But Corey Dickerson, really what I wanted to say about Corey, he had a 10-hit in a row streak, the first in Cardinals history. He had 10 straight hits, 10 at-bats, 10 hits. That's pretty freaking impressive, going 10 for 10. He went 13 for 22 on the week, hit 590, 3 runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 3 RBIs. Not a big power outburst, but just the fact that he had 10 hits in a row, I thought was pretty interesting and worthy of a highlight. Also interesting, Sean, what do you think Corey Dickerson's lifetime batting average is?
Like 282.
I mean, congratulations, Sean Meyer. Did you cheat?
I swear to God, no.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is phenomenal. How do you do it? How do you do it, Sean Meyer? Give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. That is
Between that and
phenomenal.
calling the J-Rod extension, I'm on fire.
See, I was shocked that he had that high of a lifetime batting average, but good for Corey Dickinson and
He had
good for
like
you.
315 with Tampa Bay, and they DFA'd him that offseason. I remember that. That's the only reason I was like, all right, maybe he's always been a hitter, you know.
Yeah, I guess I just listen when you strike out to end Clayton Kershaw's no hitter. I guess I just don't think that highly of you.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
282.
All right, Sean, tell
All
us
right.
about Nathaniel Lowe and the week that he had.
All right, so Nathaniel Lowe had himself a pretty good week.
Did
Now, to the casual baseball fan, you may not be familiar with him, but he was on. I became familiar with him when he was on Tampa Bay, when there was Lowe and Lau. Frankly, I wasn't sure if he was Lau or Lowe until you said Lowe before, and then I went with Lowe because I just forgot. So, fun fact.
Spoke the name as
He had
well,
himself
I
a
think.
week though. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely, crazy stuff. So this week, 26 at bats for my man Nathaniel. 385 average, 407 OBP, ain't too shabby. 1.331 OPS, not too shabby. Now, get ready for the real sweetest part of the week for him. All right,
I'm ready.
4 home runs, not bad. 11 RBIs and 26 at bats.
Yep.
That ain't too shabby. That ain't too shabby at all.
Nope.
I'm just looking at the numbers here. There's just a solid week across the board. Yeah, there's nothing out. I pretty much hit all the big ones. Only struck out 3 times, which, as I say, only 3 times. You know, but today's day and age, that is not too bad for some would say a light thumper. You know.
Yeah. I was
Here as well.
I was kind of shocked. The reason he even made my list is I was going through the picks to click, and I was like, all right, how many people had the 300 average? And sitting there, number 13, to give me my win, scratching 300 exactly, is Nathaniel Lowe. And I was like, Nathaniel? First off, I was like, he used to be Nate. So now we're going the whole Nathaniel. But Nate Lowe has a 300 average? Really? Because that didn't make sense to me. I was like, let me see. He must have just qualified or something. So I checked, and certainly he does. 22. He's having a little bit of a year, and I didn't realize it. He's 27 years old, Sean. As you said, he came up with Tampa Bay, and he was like decently touted, but he was kind of under the radar this year because he hasn't really performed that well since he left Tampa, went to Texas. But expecting batting average of 283, so he's overperforming a tad, but 92nd percentile in expected batting average, and 23rd percentile, a 23% K rate, which is down from when he came into the league at 30. So he really has cut down. I think that's really helped him out. I will say, though, Sean, bringing it back to something we talked about earlier in the year, his walk rate last year was 12%, and that was about his career average. This year, 6%. Walk rate cut in half, batting average through the roof. Don't understand it. Don't know what these people are doing, but apparently walking is for losers. I mean, look at Juan Soto. He's got the most by like double everybody else, and his average is sitting at 250. So for some reason this year, if you walk, your average goes down. Max Muncy, Juan Soto. If you don't walk, your average goes up, which has really never been the case. But congratulations to Nate Lowe and everyone else who's taking advantage of that. Moving on to my pitcher highlight, Shawnee. I got Jordan Montgomery and a shout out to Aaron Nola. I just want to forget Jordan Montgomery's last outing against Atlanta. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But before that, he had 20 and 2/3 inning of 1-run ball, including a complete game 1-hit shutout this week against the Chicago Cubbies. Let's go Yankees. You know, at this point, he's overperforming, given the stats, the expected stats, and it's just a really bad time for Cashman. He has pitched, again, 20 and 2/3 of 1-run ball basically since being moved before this last start against Atlanta, who's a really good team. So God bless. And also just wanted to shout out Aaron Nola, obviously friend of the pod. He had a complete game shutout, 11K performance over Cincinnati, but who doesn't? Patrick Corbin's going 6-1. You certainly should be able to get 9-0 against
Yeah.
Cincinnati. Former player to watch. So good to see Aaron Nola, friend of the pod, player to watch, doing well. Do you have a
We
pitcher
love it.
highlight for us today, Shawnee?
I do. It's a guy who I don't think's been a highlight for either one of us so far this year. Signed a big contract in the offseason. Has had an okay year, not great. Robbie Ray. This week in particular, he had himself a good week as well. In 13 and 2/3 innings pitched, he had 2 starts. So he went deep. I'm not even gonna try and figure out the numbers. My brain is
Not worth it.
shot.
It's not worth it.
But he went deep in the games. Yeah, 14 Ks over those 2 starts. Only 2 walks. ERA of 0.66. In that span, he got 2 wins. Only gave 5 hits. He's had, like I said, a bit of a down year. He's ERA has ballooned from last year. Right now it's up to 3.58, which is way up from 2.84. But last year we all knew was kind of an anomaly. That wasn't really who he was. It just was one year where everything was going right for him. And Seattle, they're getting some love today on the pod, and I figured I'd spread it along to Robbie Ray. And best of luck to him. And yeah.
Yeah. Bumgarner right now has 2 on with 1 out. So he's not looking good in the top of the second either. Again, prayers up for Madison. Moving on to my minor league highlight this week. I'm a little upset. I was finishing my research this week, and I realized he got called up 2 days ago, and I had no clue because I just bought his card 4 days ago. I bought it 2 days before he got called up. I didn't realize he got called up. I got the card, and I was like, "Oh, it's cool. Put it down." Yeah, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So he's only had 2 at bats with the San Diego Padres. His name is Eggy. I've heard it pronounced Aguay, but I've heard it mostly pronounced Eggy, which I think is cool. It's Eguy, not Eggy, but Eggy Rosario. He's the second baseman, Sean. Number 10 for the Padres is not listed as a top 100 prospect. So pretty cool that he got called up. I kind of called it. He was already called up when I wrote it out, but I didn't know he was called up. So technically, I called it. I also bought his card 2 days before he called up. I called it. Let's just give me the call. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Going over his ratings: 40, 45 for hit. Refer to a previous video if you don't know what that means. That's mean. That's very mean, guys. The first number, it's the 2080 scale. First number is current. Next number is supposed value when he gets the big leads in his prime. So 40 and 45 for hit, 30 and 40 for game power, 45-45 raw power, 40-40 speed, 50-50 field, a 40 overall future value. So probably the worst rated prospect that we've seen on a prospect highlight for me. Only a 40 overall value. That's like a middle of the road major league player. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But not crazy hyped up. Obviously, not even the top 100 prospects. But like I said, I just got his card. I bought his Bowman Chrome first auto for $22, Sean. I was looking at his stats, and I was like, this guy, he's had a good couple 2 seasons, Double A and Triple A, some higher levels than minors, and I thought he might get called up soon for these Padres. Let me give this guy a shot. Like I said, he's had a really nice couple of seasons. So let me share my screen and we can go over what he's. Oh, that's him. There he is. He's a cutie. Let's watch his swing first because we're here, and then we'll go over his stats. Okay, we're going to do it opposite of what my script says. Now here's my comp. If you can see up here, I think he's a little bit of Alfonso Soriano. Okay, he's kind of torqued, held in, and he's really torqued, but then he finishes pretty high and open, and he gets pretty decent bat speed. This is a 2-homer game, so we'll get to see a couple swings.
Knee drop.
You gotta like the Chihuahuas.
The Chihuahua.
Oh, God. Oh, well, that's his diving catch. Now, I certainly. Are we gonna have to watch an ad? Is that what they're gonna do? Because if we're gonna watch an ad, Sean, I'm gonna be a little bit bothered. They're gonna.
No
Okay.
free ads.
We're gonna go here for right now. And I want you to watch Alfonso Soriano to see what I'm saying. Kind of starts out closed off like this. The ad should hopefully be done as it is. Let's get this pulled up here. Kind of closed off a little bit, turned in, and then he finishes. He finishes pretty open. But I like him. He's like Soriano. He's a power speed threat. He's 20-20 right now in the minor leagues. 20 homers, 20 steals. So a similar profile to that of Alfonso Soriano. Obviously, Alfonso Soriano, Hall of Fame type guy. But let's go to his minor league stats to see why I like him. As I said last week, I don't really like the guys who are kind of slow out the gate, but he has really improved every single season, and some of these seasons he basically kind of got screwed by getting moved up too quickly here. We see 50 games, he's performing at a decent level, gets moved up to A ball, and really struggles. So it kind of killed his overall stats. But looking here, the last two seasons,
Yeah.
in Double A, 12 homers, 30 stolen bases, 281, 360, and then in AAA, and where this is knocking on the door. This is pretty elite competition here at AAA. A lot of major league talent there. 21 homers, 20 steals in 113 games, 293, 374, doing even better than he did in AA last year. So I'm pretty excited about him, especially because of these on-base numbers here, 360, 370. He's not striking out a crazy amount. It's less than one per game. Believe it or not, that's pretty good. Walking an okay amount for a minor leaguer with the power speed threat. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Eggy can do.
I said I love the comp. Soriano is very much a forgotten player.
Thank you. Yes, I had you muted, so I apologize if you had said other things as well. I didn't realize I muted you. The other thing I was going to say is Corbin Carroll, obviously coming to the show. We're waiting on that at bat. But I bought a Grayson Rodriguez card as well, who just came back from injury, and people are really sleeping on Grayson Rodriguez. So stop sleeping on him. Stop sleeping on the kid.
Wake up.
Thank you. Number one, Milwaukee and Baltimore are, well, before I do that, Sean, I apologize. Do you have anything else you want to tell the fans? Do you have a hot take? Do you have anything like that? Because I forgot my hot take. I didn't even make a hot take this week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know
The Muffin Man?
Yes, exactly.
That's Kevin Muff.
G-Man Choi.
Oh, do I know
my
G-Man Choi?
I haven't heard Kevin Muff. I haven't heard the name in such a long time. Anyway, G-Man Choi.
That's my baby.
Do you know what teams he played for?
Oh shit.
Before Tampa.
Oh,
Don't look it up.
I'm not. Did he have a stint with the Yankees for a really hot second? Like the hottest of
6
seconds.
games with the Yankees.
The hottest of seconds.
In 2017.
That's what I'm talking about. The hottest second.
I saw that. I somehow saw this over the course of the week. And I was like, I gotta bring this up on the pod because I had no idea G-Man Choi was a Yankee.
That, by the way, folks, is elite baseball knowledge. We're talking 6 games, and I'm sitting here thinking, I've seen my boy in pennies. I've seen him in the pinstripes. Is that it, or did he play for anyone else?
Came up with the Angels.
Oh, that's
played with
right.
the Yankees.
That's right.
Then 1 year with Milwaukee.
I didn't know that.
Tampa.
I didn't know about Milwaukee. How many games did you play with
Only 12
Milwaukee?
games.
Okay. Yeah. I think you need above 20 games with a team I don't follow to notice. You need apparently just over 5 for the team that I do follow to notice. 12 games in Milwaukee. I'm sorry for not seeing you. Thank you for the question, Sean. That was phenomenal.
Anytime.
Our picks to click: Milwaukee and Baltimore are both 1.5 games out of a wild card spot right now, Shawnee. Who is closer to a playoff berth at the end of the week, though?
That's tough.
I'm going to say Baltimore. I was big on Baltimore in one of these other questions before. I always got it wrong, but I'm going to stay with Baltimore. Let's go.
Okay. I was gonna go. I was leaning towards Milwaukee, so I'll go with Milwaukee.
Okay. Jake McCarthy is up with 2 outs. So we're going to hope that Jake McCarthy gets a hit. Because if he doesn't, me and Sean are going to have to wait on here until the even after the pod. Let's see. The Dodgers have the biggest divisional lead at 19.5 games, Tony, over the Padres, obviously. Is the lead over 20 games at the end of the week or not? 20-game lead in the division, yes or no?
Here's the thing: they start a 3-game series with the Mets starting tomorrow. So if
Yep.
if I want to be a true Mets fan and stay true to what I believe, or what I root for, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Do I think it might be? Yes. I'm just gonna say no.
Sean's going to say no. I got to be a true Dodgers fan, right? I got to say yes. Excuse the
Our
burp. We haven't
fans
had
get
one.
called into question.
Okay, Sean, get ready for this question. You're going to like it. Does this New York thumper get his 110th RBI on his 50th thump shot? That would be Aaron Judge, who has 109 RBIs and 49 bombs. Does that 110th RBI come on his 50th bomb? Does he go even? Or does he get, base hit to knock in a guy? What do we think?
Sure, I think yeah. Thump. He's gonna thump it.
I'm going to say no thump. I'm going to say no thump. I'm going to say it's like a sack fly or something. That's how I feel.
Okay.
My last one here, by the way, McCarthy did not do what we were looking for, unfortunately. Let's see exactly what he did. He grounded out to the first baseman, Reese Hoskins. But that's okay, Jake. You don't worry about it. Corbin Carroll will be leading off. That's the bottom of the third. Dan's top prospect in all of baseball is getting called up today. That would be Corbin Carroll, obviously, number 3 in the MLB. My top prospect, because who likes Francisco Alvarez anyway? How many hits does Corbin Carroll get
He's
this
making.
week?
By the way,
What did you say?
Francisco Alvarez might require ankle surgery that'll put him out for probably 4 to 6 months.
I'm sorry.
It's all because I drafted him on my team.
Well, he plays for the Mets, so that's a tough spot to be. I'm sorry.
Anyway, your question?
Yeah. How many hits does Corbin get this week?
Two.
2 hits. Okay. I'm gonna go with 8. I think he gets 8 hits this week. I think Corbin Carroll has a nice week. I gotta stay with my boy. Now, Sean, the last segment I have before we wait, we might pause. You might have a pause from the end of where we talk to Corbin Carroll's at bat. But I want to bring back pick a card, any card for you, Sean. And let's open up a nice little unopened thing. And Sean, let me get back here. See what guy we'll get this week. All right. Pick a card, any card.
You
I'm,
stop. Just,
I'm going. It's a real
you can
magic
stop.
act.
You're good. Yeah.
All
It's oh god.
right. I have to make sure I get the exact one you wanted because I don't want to lie. This one here. Come on.
I'll look him up when you tell me who it is.
Okay, we have Gene Harris, Sean. Gene Harris. Take a guess what his career ERA was. Well, up to this point, up to 1992.
3.59.
5 on the dot was his career ERA in 1992. Hopefully, Gene finished his career
How do you spell his name?
Gene and then Harris, which I trust that you can spell. He was born
I
in
hope so.
1964. 5'11", 190. Out of Sebring, Florida.
All right.
He was
I
traded from
found
the
him.
Mariners.
Yeah. Well, what year is that card?
92. It's his first year with the Padres. Was traded, I guess, at the deadline or something, it looks like.
Yeah, he was a relief pitcher. Career ERA of 4.71.
Went down a little.
Yeah, a little bit. He had 1 year he saved 23 games for San Diego.
Okay.
Only had 12 wins and 18 losses. That's not a lot of decisions, even for a relief pitcher. Yeah, played 7 years in the league.
Well, Gene
Probably
Harris,
a lot.
I hope you're watching. This is probably the only baseball podcast you ever get a shout out on. Holy shit. I'm sorry, Gene. That wasn't nice. I'm not being nice today. I don't know why. It's just coming out of me. I mean, friend of the pod, though, Gene Harris. We're gonna get one more.
Gene Harris.
No offense, Gene. I want to end on a better note. Gene, I'm sorry for your family. Sean, you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Ken Caminiti, who I believe had a pretty interesting career. I think he almost won MVP.
What's his name?
Ken Caminiti.
Ken.
I'm pretty sure he was a pretty good player. I think the Jolly Olive actually did a video on him recently, believe it or not. If you watch the Jolly Olive.
Yeah, 1,700 career hits. Not too shabby.
Okay.
Career 272 hitter. Wow, I would not be surprised if he's a steroid guy. In 1996, he had 130 RBIs, which is a bit of an outlier. Same with the home runs. He had no more than 26 home runs, and then he had 41 year, and then we back down to the low 20s.
Holy shit.
He was definitely a thumper. Definitely a thumper. Yeah, his picture just looks like a guy who did steroids type picture.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me the Bath brother friend or brothers vibes.
Okay.
But yeah, he had some pretty good years.
41 and
solid
130.
player.
It's pretty fucking crazy. That's a hell of a season.
He struck out only 99 times.
Hey, friend of the pod.
Yeah, he won MVP in 1996 that year.
He did win MVP. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I thought I saw a Jolly Olive video about it.
You know who finished? He got all the first place votes, but you know who finished second behind him in that year's MVP voting for the National League?
No, I don't. I think this
Mike
was a
Piazza.
video. Might be that's what it was. Yeah, this was a video about I forget, I think it was the third place finisher who it was about, and he was arguing that the third place finisher should have beat both Piazza and Caminiti. Shout out Jolly Olive.
Yeah, this list, yeah, the guy who finished third, Ellis Burks, had 128 RBIs, 40 home runs as well. This list is kind of a who's who. I mean, it goes Ken Caminiti, Mike Piazza, Ellis Burks, Chipper Jones, Barry Bonds, Andres Galarraga, not familiar with him, Gary Sheffield, Jeff Bagwell, Steve Finley, John Smoltz, Barry Larkin, Bernard Gilkey. There's some names on that list.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, as always, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. You will see us in about a couple minutes, and then we'll sign you out.
In the big leagues, you don't even know where the clubhouse is.
All right, guys, you are hearing the sounds of it.
Last week.
Box it out. I'm watching it on my
Several
computer.
publications, including ESPN and The Athletic, as the number one prospect
here we
in
go.
all Major League Baseball. Tremendous speed, power, a makeup, and a baseball IQ that everyone has been raving about.
It's a big at-bat, Sean. I carried him for the playoff series for the Red Hawks against Leafs. So he's getting his MLB start tonight. He's getting his first debut with the Red Hawks tonight. I need the points for the playoff series. Let's go.
I don't know which honor is more prestigious.
I couldn't tell you. He looks good.
In the minors this
Looks
year.
like Cody. Ooh. First pitch strike going in. I think he should have swung.
Said
I think he should
today
have
that
swung.
Corbin Carroll
I'm
got
excited
into
right now.
Diamondback system as
I haven't been
Ray
this
was
excited since,
connecting
like,
dots at a different pace
J-Rod
than
I was
everybody
just
else.
excited for.
That's a good
I was
way to
thinking
put it.
Vladdy, but J-Rod I was definitely.
Charlie Marte.
It's out of a little bit of a
Charlie
close
Marte
stance. He has
was-
a little
that's a
toe
while
tap
ago.
mechanism that he does for timing in that left-handed batter's box.
Ball
And
inside,
eventually
it's
the right
1-1.
foot ends up closer to home plate than the back foot.
Bad
There's
take.
that sinker from Suarez, and it's 1-2.
1-2, as the announcer said.
Mike
Blowing
Hayes,
away
D-backs
sinker.
GM, said Corbin Carroll is going to play. And we're not going to call him up here to sit.
Woo! He's going to play, baby. I like it. Come on, Corbin.
1-2 from Ranger Suarez.
No strikeout. That's why I like you. Please don't strike out. Oh, it's a bounce. It's a chopper.
Segura's gonna have to
Get out.
hustle.
He's out.
They just do get him at first.
Ah. All right.
I can feel the D-backs home run coming tonight.
He almost-
It's been tough for me to win a quick. He's saying he only had 2 hits in his first at bat. He got a hit. So.
Well, let me pause this. Okay. Well, it was the high chopper to the second baseman. Just got him. He was flying down the line. I was afraid. He stepped on first. You know when you're fully extended and you step on first? I thought his knee was going to get fucked because you can really mess up your knee doing that. But you could tell he was hot out of the box. He wanted that. He was sniffing that first hit.
That first hit.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And I think we'll keep the pick a card, any card, as a last segment going forward. I think that's a fun thing.
I like that.
And that's really it. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Got anything else to tell them, Sean?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Aside from the New York Football Giants, Davis Webb.
Danny Dimes, baby. Danny Dimes.
That's the third best QB on the roster.
Second best. Davis Webb's better than Daniel Jones. I'll give you that.
Tyrod Taylor is good.
Yeah, until he got fucking knocked out unconscious. But I mean, I will say, everyone knows, not everyone, Sean knows, Davis Webb was my first love of a Giants quarterback. I've been high on Davis Webb for about 5 or 6 years now, and he's looked good, Sean.
He has.
Give him a
Trying to
chance.
get cut. But
That's the only way I'd be happy with Daniel Jones losing his job is Davis Webb getting the job.
could you imagine? Daniel Jones gets cut. Davis Webb's the starting quarterback week 1.
He'd be so filthy, Sean. He would be so filthy. Give him a chance. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is not a Giants podcast, but if you're wondering why my hair looked wet at the beginning, it's because I broke into a pool tonight right before the podcast. We'll see you next week.